America First Refining, a landmark $300 billion project, is set to break ground this spring in Brownsville, Texas. It would be the first new U.S. oil refinery in nearly 50 years, processing American shale oil with hydrogen-powered tech. Backers say it will create thousands of jobs and strengthen U.S. energy independence. What an announcement. Crazy moves in the oil sector and energy exploration. We're seeing that actually take the lead today in the futures space, at least. We're seeing tons of upside movement in crude oil, even heating oil, natural gas, gasoline futures. All of these futures products are up pretty big today, and that shouldn't surprise anyone with some news like this. And, of course, the global tensions that continue to go on. We'll see what happens at the end of the day. But really, I think there's some tradable opportunities here. Whether you're bullish or bearish, if you think this upside spike in oil prices is only going to drop back down, there's a trade for that. And if you think it's going to expand to the upside, there's also a trade for that. I'm actually already involved in the crude oil futures. I've been selling call spreads above the market when we get these rips, because we've tended to see that when implied volatility expands into these rips, you see plenty of premium on those upside strikes. So I've got an iron condor in crude oil futures. I've got a short call spread above the current market in crude oil futures. We'll see what happens there. But all of this volatility in crude oil futures has created tons of course, implied volatility and backwardation in the futures market. So if we're looking at the Tasty platform here, a really good job of organization in terms of what contracts are trading, what options expirations settle to those contracts. So we can see here the near-term contract trading at 87.83 is the J contract, and all of these options expirations settle to that contract. When you see a new last price, that tells you that the options expirations associated with that last price and beyond settle to the new contract. So in this case, the last price of 86.72, you can see settles to the CLK contract, the CLK6 contract, and there's plenty of options expirations that are associated with that. So to really clearly see backwardation, it's easiest to just show all of the regular expirations only. So that'll show us all of the new last prices, and we can do that by just clicking this filter on the trade tab, clicking regular expirations only, and we can clearly see we've got about 1.5 points of backwardation. Backwardation is just where the near-term contract is a more expensive price than the next contract, and typically it's not a usual normal futures curve. Normally, futures curves are in Contango, where the near-term contract is a lower price than the next contract. But when you have these bouts of implied volatility and heightened volatility in general, you tend to see backwardation, and that's really what sparks market fear and market volatility. We saw that a couple days ago in the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. We saw the VIX futures, which speaks to the S&P 500. We saw the VIX futures trickle into backwardation, which happens once in a while, but usually when it happens, we tend to see 100-point, 200-point moves in the E-mini futures. So crude oil futures are backwardated. That's going to affect products like USO. So USO is going to see some more upside pressure with this backwardation, because USO is one of those products where it's seeking to replicate the returns of the crude oil futures. So if we have a finite amount of funds and we're putting that into a near-term or blend of near-term and next-term futures contracts in crude oil, if we can sell out of the near-term for a higher price and buy more contracts of the next cycle, we're able to get a lot more exposure to that next cycle. So if the prices continue to stay volatile and increase, you can see a product like USO really move to the upside pretty easily, and that's what we've seen over the last couple of weeks. This thing was trading at $80 a share, got as high as 124, and we're seeing it settling around 107 right now. But I have my eye on XOP. So I actually already have a bearish position on USO because I'm playing for that backwardation to kind of flatten out. We've seen it happen already, and I want to get some downside exposure just in case things settle overseas. Maybe crude oil prices drop more dramatically. But XOP is the Spider S&P Oil and Gas Exploration and Production ETF. So I think when we talk about this news piece, aligning it with something like that, this product specifically, makes a lot of sense to me. And I want to inventory some upside delta here to kind of hedge my downside delta in USO. Another reason why I like XOP for exposure to this news is simply because XOP is an ETF at the end of the day, and it has lower implied volatility than some of these other big name stocks like Chevron or BP. So when you look at XOP implied volatility, first of all, we're looking at 40% implied volatility if we're looking at these regular expirations here. We do have other expirations, some weeklies involved as well, but 40% implied volatility is really low for the realized movement that we've seen in XOP. So kind of in the same sense, from February to now, we've seen a 30-point rally in XOP. And 40% implied volatility is a little bit low for that kind of realized volatility. So all that to say, I do like the idea of buying premium in here and still having a short premium component in a near-term cycle. So I'm looking to get long in May. So we can look at this option here. If we go all the way out to May, 65 days out, the 165 strike, which is just outside of the money here on the upside, trading for about $900. If we look at June, you can see that same option is trading for about $10, $11. So do I want to spend a little bit less and have less time associated, 65 days, or do I want to buy a little bit more time and pay a little bit more premium for that? Well, I think for me, the answer is going to be, we're going to go to June here after further analysis, because 40% IV in the 65-day cycle means that that premium is going to be more expensive. 37, 38% IV in a 99-day cycle means that that premium is going to be a little bit less expensive. And if we look at the expected moves here, plus or minus 2045, plus or minus 2178, they're ultimately a similar number, and I'm getting another 34 days of time for this thing to work out in my favor. So let's actually buy June, get a little more time on our side, under our belt, just in case this doesn't work out right away. But I do like to sell premium in the April cycle here, because April, we're seeing a little bit heightened implied volatility, 14-point implied move here. And the nice thing about this strategy is, if we look at the 165 long option and the 180 short option, if I were to just sell this option right at the expected move orange bar here, picking up $200 here, I think makes a lot of sense in terms of cost basis reduction. It's just about 20% of the cost of that long option in June. So we're buying a 15-point wide diagonal spread here for about $900. And if we go to the analysis tab, let's visualize this thing. And let's actually evaluate this at a different time. Let's go to the end of the month here in March, and let's keep this implied volatility the same. I mean, we can drop this, let's say 5 percentage points on both sides here. Let's say we get a little bit of a vol crush here. If we do see the move to the upside and we go up to 180, for example, I'm paying $900 for the spread. I can make, from a P&L theoretical standpoint, about $550. That's a nice return on capital for sure, especially with a definers trade. Takes advantage of the upside move if it does happen, and I know exactly what I'm risking. Another nice thing about this is I'm paying $9 for a 15-point wide diagonal spread. If this thing sells off, not only would that benefit my USO position to the downside, but I'll have the ability to roll this call down. So I have a 15-point wide diagonal spread. I'm only paying $9 for it. So I know for a fact I can roll my 15-point wide diagonal spread down to a 10-point wide diagonal spread, which means buying back this 180 call in April and bringing it down to the 175, reducing the cost basis a little bit, and reducing max loss, max pain if we end up hitting that. But that's my trade. A 165, 180 call diagonal spread. Long June. Buying June because it's basically the same price as May, so why not get that extra time? And selling April right at the expected move, picking up $200, reducing cost basis by about 20%. And if XOP continues to rally, this is a nice return on capital on the debit paid, specifically because XOP still has pretty low implied volatility, considering all the other products that are moving around like crazy, and that gives us a nice low debit cost here. So I'll post this to the Tasty Trade follow page, And you can follow along or fade it if you think it's going to move the opposite direction. But if you like this content, give Tastylive's YouTube channel a follow, like this video, and write in the comment section whether you like this or not, whether you do a different strategy. But join me every day with Jamal on Options Trading Concepts Live on the Tastylive Network at 11 a.m. Central. We talk about this stuff. We use this analysis all the time. But until next time, peace.